One of the great endeavors of archaeology is figuring out which events described in the Bible actually happened. We know Jesus lived, had a lot of followers, and that he was crucified. That is all historical fact. It's what happened after he was crucified that depends on your faith. But with the emergence of modern astronomy and evolutionary biology, the book of Genesis hasn't held up as well. But hang on, because researchers in Turkey now claim they found indisputable evidence that the story of Noah's Ark was not a cautionary tale about the consequences of forsaking God, but a verifiable historical event. The team at Noah's Ark's Scans says this is the final resting place of Noah's Ark. Well, how do they know? Well, they started with the renderings of the ship based on the book of Genesis, in which God gave Noah detailed specifications on how to build the ark. The team claims those scans align almost identically with a rock formation in the Durupınar site of eastern Turkey. It's near Mount Ararat.
These are the timbers of the ship. That's what we're looking at.
It's amazing.
Joining us now is the lead archaeological researcher of Noah's Ark Scans, Andrew Jones, joining us live from Turkey. Andrew, great to have you on. First things first, how long have you and your group been looking for Noah's Ark?
Well, personally, I've been interested in the stories as a child. I first heard about it from Ron Wyatt, who came out to California when I was in middle school. I then came out to see this site that was discovered in 1959 by Captain Durupınar, and we started our research in 2019 on the site.
All right, what makes you think that what you have found is actually Noah's Ark and not some sort of, geological anomaly?
Well, first of all, it was noticed because of the ship's shape. And this is the only shape people saw out here in 1959 that got the world interested, because it's in the mountains of Ararat, just like Genesis 8:4 says in the Bible, where Noah's Ark landed. So we're in the right area. We have a shape of a ship. And then when you look at the size of it, it is exactly 300 Royal Egyptian cubits. That's what Moses wrote in the book of Genesis. And so, either that's a coincidence or we're looking at the right object. And then we started doing scans. And these are non-destructive geophysical scans that can peer below the soil, like radar and ERT. And they're showing a pattern of structure that you would not expect in nature. And then just last year, we did soil testing on the site, and we found out that it has almost 3 times as much organic matter inside the boat formation versus just right outside it.
Yeah, so you did the soil samples. You found potassium in the soil, which indicates that wood was there, right?
Yeah, that's the possibility. The biggest thing, though, is that because we have a higher organic matter, and if you look at the photos of the site, you will see that this is a ship shape sitting on a mountainside. And so if it's just part of the mountainside, you would expect to see the exact same chemical analysis from inside versus outside. But we're finding that inside is different.
How deep underground is this?
So some of the scans, for example, the radar, we're getting data down to about 30 feet. And it's showing subterranean structures and cavities. So there's a possibility that some of these rooms, or you can call it cages or whatever, they're not filled in yet with mud and material, but they're still open spaces.
If you haven't perused the book of Genesis lately, it's kind of shocking how many exact measurements and instructions the book of Genesis claims God gave Noah, 3 decks, this big. I mean, is it really that specific? And does that match what you're finding?
Yeah, so, over time, you expect a wooden ship to decay, but we are noticing that there are layers of material just only inside the ship shape, and we're getting actually 3 big, thick layers, and then in between those layers, we're finding a central tunnel, it could be a central hallway, and then to the sides of those, we're finding these shapes, these right angles that suggest walls and rooms.
You're not the first person to claim to find Noah's Ark. Do you think you are the real one to find Noah's Ark?
Well, we hope so. And, until another site is found that matches, we're going to keep pursuing the research here.
All right. Andrew Jones, utterly fascinating. Noah's Ark, right where the Bible said it would be, just a little bit underground. And so far, you say what you're finding matches up. I hope you find more evidence and we can absolutely confirm it. Come on back when you do.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.